Hello.
And welcome to Film Bastards.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to episode 463 of Film Bastards. This is going to be the most rushed intro ever. We are on a clock today, people. So my name is Ian Loring, and as always, I am joined by...
Becky Foster, hello everyone.
And Matt Foster, hello everybody.
Hello. Hurricane Me has been and gone. Everybody is safe. The hurricane was 4 days ago. The power went out here yesterday for several hours. A tree went down yesterday and took a power line out. Amazing stuff. But anyway, what are we here to review? We're going to be focusing on reviews today. I've got about an hour and a half, so we'll see what we can get done. So we're going to be talking Andrew Dominik's controversial, to say the least, Blonde, the hit horror movie of the moment, Smile, and my mind's gone blank.
Munsters.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Rob Zombie's The Munsters. So you'll have our thoughts on them as well. If we have time, we'll talk about what we've been watching in trailers and whatnot. But yeah, we are a Pod Syndicate show, so please follow other like-minded shows like The Iron Sequel, Trin Stroker vs. Punter, His Film Her Movie, The Rewatch Project, and Entertainment Landfill, and patreon.com/Film Bastards, where we were going to be starting the Guy Ritchie marathon this week. However, unfortunately, some medical issues on my end. Like it's nothing super bad, but basically means that we're unable to do a full-on show and marathon today. But next week we will be starting the marathon, which I kind of feel like this is the most obvious title, but I'm going to swing it by you guys.
All right,
now.
go on then, because I've got the title as well. Let's see if it's as obvious as we
Mark,
think.
Go on. No, Mark, do it.
Lock, Stock and Three Smoking Bastards.
Yeah, there you go.
The same one.
Yeah. Virtual high five. So, Lock, Stock and Three Smoking Bastards will start next week with Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. Good film, but we'll talk about it next week. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's get into it. Apparently Mark is bursting at the seams to talk about this, so let's not delay any longer. Blonde is directed by Andrew Dominik and stars Ana de Armas and Adrian Brody, among others, and is based on a novel from the year 2000 by Joyce Carol Oates. Yep. And so is a fictionalized telling of the life of Marilyn Monroe, played here by Ana de Armas, who has an abusive mother, is told by the mother that her dad is like an actor who she will see one day, and it chronicles her relationship life as she searches for the ideal partner who she very much wants to call daddy. So Mark, let's start off with you. Andrew Dominik's Blonde. We've been looking forward to this one for a while. All the things that we were hearing pre-release were interesting, and yes, please, we would like to see this. We just covered Andrew Dominik in the F-list shows, as we covered Killing Them Softly. We are fans of Andrew Dominik. What did you think of Blonde?
Well, for a start off, I think, before I get into the film, I think one of the reasons why Netflix has decided to start scaling back the way that it's producing films is, I think, largely Blonde could be held quite responsible for that, in the sense that I think Netflix is partially responsible for this, because I think Netflix have heard prestige director, Marilyn Monroe, biopic, Ana de Armas, and gone sold, and haven't actually gone any further than that. I don't think anyone at Netflix has, for instance, read Blonde. I have read Blonde. It's not very good. but I thought that it was going to be interesting to see what Andrew Dominic would do with Blonde, and see where he would take that idea. Was quite surprised that it doesn't start with "this is a work of fiction."
Yeah.
Because the problem is, there will be people who will go and watch this movie thinking that this is based on, that this is a biopic of Marilyn Monroe, not a complete work of fiction. It is quite simply one of the most exploitatively pathetic films that I have seen in a long, long time. It's in no way is it clever. I reject the idea that it even looks that nice.
You put a soft focus on anything, it looks alright. It's not skillful.
There's a shift in between aspect ratios and everything like that, which doesn't feel like it's done for any reasons other than Andrew Dominic just swatting about. It's a quite vicious and nasty piece of work by a man who I think is quite an angry man. If you're going by interviews that he's done very recently, where he's just come across as quite bitter and quite angry, this is a bitter and angry movie that's not angry at the world in which Marilyn was treated or anything like that, because it's a work of fucking fiction.
Yeah.
There is a world where you could tell a work of fact that is angry at the way that Marilyn Monroe was treated. This isn't, because it is a complete work of fiction. It is... Ana de Armas spends, I would say, a good third of the runtime of this movie without a top on, for no reason. Does not enhance the story, does not have any kind of bearing upon what is happening in those scenes, other than just look, tits. It's icky, but not even, you can't take it in its icky as in the world it's set in, because the world it's set in is complete fiction that Andrew Dominic is being kind of sneaky with, in not telling you that it's fiction, but also having that comfortability of going, oh, this is a work of fiction, I'm not saying these things happened. So he's trying to have his cake and eat it too, whilst also spending a lot of time looking at Ana de Armas without a top on. It is... The score's good.
Yeah.
It's very Twin Peaksy.
Yeah.
Incredibly Twin Peaksy.
Yeah.
Which I think it is absolutely intentional from Nick Cave.
That cue towards the end is
Yes.
crazy Twin Peaks.
It is insanely Twin Peaks. And I think that's fine, but just, it's near 3 hours long. It does absolutely nothing but essentially just be misery porn from a very nasty and bitter angle that portrays Marilyn Monroe as, frankly, naively childlike stupidity verging on the way that the eyes of Tammy Faye depicted Tammy Faye. It's a quite pathetic piece of work, to be honest.
It's so disrespectful of her memory. She wasn't a stupid woman.
No, but again, I'm going to get back on my soapbox.
Do you want a hand?
No, I don't need to hang it up here. Oh, the stepladder, it's fine. Right, again, going back to the fact that this is a work of fiction and that they will fall back on that under any criticism. The surface level of ensuring that every little moody shot that's done is based around a popular picture of Marilyn Monroe. So people can go, ooh, that's from the... I've seen this picture before. Is again, no, you're wanting to constantly have your cake, Andrew, and eat it.
Yeah.
It's just every depiction of everything is just, oh, fucking grow up. So I will get back to my
Bex, you loved it, didn't you?
I really hated it, to be honest. Yeah, it's just the utter disrespect for me that really pissed me off. I really hope he gets in some trouble for the way that he's depicted certain people in it, and there's some quite powerful estates of people that have passed that I could see taking action against him, because it is presented as a biopic. It is presented as being, you know, like you say, if they'd made more effort to go, look, it is based on a work of fiction. It is a fictionalised extrapolation of established facts.
Well, it's very interesting. I bored the shit out of you in a decade. So you know, at the end of pretty much every single fucking movie that isn't, even ones that are based around facts, you have the bit at the end that says, this movie is a work of fiction. Any similarities to real people is purely coincidental, etc., etc. Yeah, it just says at the end, this is a work of fiction, but doesn't do any depictions. What is it? It's purely coincidental. Because it's like, they can't do that. Because it's pointed.
Yeah.
It's... There's no even actual... It's a conspiracy theory that Marilyn Monroe had a relationship with JFK.
Yeah.
You know, to the point of where...
It's a widely accepted conspiracy theory, but there is quite solid evidence that it never happened.
That they've met literally once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, carry on.
No, I mean, I said to you in the car, I don't really have an awful lot to say about it. I don't think it deserves the oxygen. It's just awful. Anna de Armas is pretty good in it. You know, I very much doubt that she spoke in the Marilyn Monroe voice all the time, like she does in this movie. But that's clearly been done because she's gone through quite a lot of voice coaching to get the Marilyn Monroe voice right, and if she's not doing that voice, I'm guessing she still probably has a fairly thick accent. So she's got that one voice right and run with it. But
which is fair, which is perfectly fair enough.
Yeah, it is. You know, she looks like Marilyn Monroe. She commits to the mannerisms and stuff like that. I think it's a solid performance, but if it's trying to be a comment on the exploitation of Marilyn Monroe, exploiting Anna de Armas is not the way to go about it. If it's supposed to be, look how badly she was treated,
I don't think it's bad.
I think it wants to be that in part. I think it also wants... I don't know. I don't know what it's going for.
I just think nastiness. I just think it's nastiness for the sake of nastiness.
It is a nasty little film, yeah.
Ian.
Yeah. I mean, I think I agree with pretty much everything you guys have said here, really. It's a film made by a guy who hasn't directed a film in a decade, doesn't seem to be that bothered about making a film, but has gone all in on this. And it's, like you said at the start, Mark, the whole kind of like Netflix starting to back away from doing projects like this, and like that kind of like maybe stemming from Blonde. I could absolutely see that, but just the way that it's obviously no notes have been accepted whatsoever, like none. This is absolutely unfiltered Andrew Dominic, and unlike Liz Truss, he can't blame anyone but himself with this. You know, I mean, like, fucking just
topical.
Just the absolutely dropping Kwasi Kwarteng in it about the tax rate thing was fucking hilarious. Like the fucking cheek of it. But just to solely blame him is amazing. Anyway,
it literally it was borderline. Like it was so close to her literally going, It wasn't me.
I was just going to say, it's like
Yeah.
Shaggy levels, isn't it?
Amazing. But no, I mean, this feels like Netflix saw all the elements on paper and were like, yeah, let's go, let's get some Oscar glory, and it is just basically a complete misfire. I think Ana de Armas does what she's asked to do. I think that she is not a stature enough actress to call bullshit on some of this. I would be intrigued to see, like, years down the line what Ana de Armas actually thinks about this film, because the things that she's asked to do on this, like, from an agent's point of view, I get it, because it's like, if this thing works, you know, like, you are going to get so many plaudits and blah blah blah. But it just, the minutes long sequence of the NC-17 sequence, let's just say, I am surprised that I don't know, like, that she doesn't go, come on now. But like I say, she's probably just not a powerful enough actress to actually be able to have that sway, and I think Andrew Dominic would probably tell her to fuck off anyway. So
do you know what, though? Do you know what I would say about that? There should be somebody, a producer or somebody there, should have gone, no, you don't need to do that. Do you know what it is? Right? I'm going to go really obscure reference here. You've seen Calvary, haven't you? The what's it film with Brendan Gleeson?
yes.
So there's a bit in that, I think it's in this film, I'm fairly certain it is. Dylan Moran essentially plays an arsehole, the rich arsehole on the island who made a load of money in investments, right? Mm-hmm. And at one point, Brendan Gleeson's character goes there, and he's pointing at a painting and going, I'm going to take that painting off there and I'm going to take a piss on it. It's £250,000 and I'm going to piss on it. And Brendan Gleeson's character's like, why? Like, why would you do that? And then the next shot is him taking a piss on this painting. And it's like for no reason other than he can. And why the fuck not? And it's like he's doing it to be shocking for somebody who isn't bothered and doesn't care about being shocked.
Yeah.
And that scene, it is just like, it's Anna Dominic going, look at this, and everyone going, what? Fuck off.
Yeah.
You're trying to shock me by showing something shocking, and then when I'm not shocked, just pointing at it more and getting angry, and it's just, it's not shock. You're not Haneke, dickhead.
Yeah. That's good analogy. It's a deep cut. I like it. And I mean, like you say, the score is fine, and it, you know, I think there is some interesting shots in it. I think that there's an air of oppression about the whole thing, which absolutely, it is the film that Andrew Dominic wanted to make. I just don't know why anyone bankrolling it would think that anyone would want to see it.
If
like
it was
that,
true,
that's,
I think that would have merit. That fine, but like a large chunk of the film is her dealing with the guilt of getting the abortion, which there is absolutely zero evidence she ever did.
It's not, but that's probably it's not based. You can't. It's a fictional story, but you're constantly looking for relevance in the actual factual life. But it's a fictional story.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, the whole kind of nightmare logic to like a lot of this film, I think there's something interesting there, but why it's being applied to this story, I don't know. Oh, sorry, 2 ticks. Hey, okay. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Sorry. Yeah, the whole nightmare. I just don't get why this film exists. Yeah. Also, just to say, the people have been talking about it being anti-abortion propaganda. I think maybe propaganda is a little bit strong, but I will also say, what the fuck? like the fetus talking to her. Just what?
I think like I say, I don't think it's quite near anti-abortion. I do think it's a very hyper conservative film.
Yeah.
It's a I mean, right. So again, and it's applying real life to a fictional story, but I think it's very difficult to not with this.
Because it presents itself as real.
Yeah, but the whole daddy thing.
Oh God.
She apparently did call her first husband, which the film doesn't even mention because it's not a real story. But she did refer to her first husband as daddy. He is in life confirmed that.
Yeah.
Granted, he was 25 and she was 16 when they got married, I believe.
Yeah.
And even he's admitted it was a marriage to get her out of the orphanage that she was in. But the film makes such a pointative point, and it is aching to put that point across, that she referred to every male in her life as daddy, with the exception of the one man she might have loved, a guy who she might have had a relationship with in Charlie Chaplin's son.
Yeah.
But she refers to all of her husbands as daddy because she was just a lost little girl just looking for her dad. It's Jesus Christ.
It's an absolute piece of shit.
Sorry, I was just getting a charger. I was listening, but apologies. Yeah, I mean this is it, you know, and it's like
The daddy thing made me die inside.
But how did he get a final cut? I mean, well, I suppose it's the only way he was going to agree to make the film. But it just, how did no one just go, no, you can't do that? And I mean, to be fair, the NC-17 bit was probably in the screenplay, but I don't know, just it is infantile as well. Isn't he watching like a rocket launch or something?
Yeah.
Like, come on. God, and it's so long and it's so oppressive, and like
boring.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's that as well. And the thing is, every now and then there's a hint of something. Like, you've got that scene where she's on the phone and she's asking, like, well, how much did Jane Russell get in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes? And like, she's kind of like giving her agent crap for it. And it's like, okay, there is a sign here that this woman actually knows what she's doing. But the rest of the film, she's just this passive vessel that, like, she's just going from one thing to the other, one partner to the other. And there's just... But then you have the scene where she's talking about the play with Arthur Miller, and he kind of, like, he realises, holy shit, this is an interesting woman here. And then the rest, like, that's not followed up on, like, at all. She, like, feels, like, insignificant around his friends, and then she has a miscarriage. The end of that bit. You know, it just... There's very, very, very little of worth and value in this film, and it is annoying because obviously an awful lot of effort from an awful lot of people has gone into it, but it's basically the vision of one angry man who, I don't know, just needs to have words with himself and will probably find it difficult to get any kind of final cut on anything he makes ever again.
But will blame everybody else but himself.
Yeah, and it's... Annoyingly, I think what's going to happen now, I've got a feeling that people are going to swing back around on the assassination of Jesse James and go too much the other way and go in, well, actually, there's some really dodgy shit in this and blah, blah, blah. And I've got a feeling there is going to be campaign to kind of destroy Andrew Dominik's legacy at this point, which I think is unfair. But he has made a very, very bad film here.
Yeah, there'll be a little bit of a, why are we indulging this guy when he's... There'll be a revisionism, because, let's be honest, Killing Them Softly is not a liked film. We loved it. We all loved it. I think it's brilliant. But it's not a generally liked film. And that's quite an angry film. You know, the great ending of that film, America's a Business Now, fuck you, pay me.
Yeah.
It's an angry fucking film. There are bits of assassination gestures, but also Chopper's a fun film. That is actually, when you go back and look at it, it's quite nasty. It's a nasty piece of work. That also, as well, is another complete fabrication of fact. You know, the guy didn't do half the things that he claims to have done. And it's been proven that he didn't.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're now at the point where Andrew Dominik has made 4 movies, 3 of which are based around true facts that are not actually true.
Yeah, and obviously, like, the interviews that he's done do add context to this, and it maybe if you were going in like without them, you'd have a different opinion. But it is what it is. But he's obviously not interested in Marilyn Monroe. Like, he just wanted to make an NC-17 film about the life of Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah,
almost for shits and gigs.
Yeah, it's he's wanted to do that, and the way that he can make it more shocking is by having it be Hollywood's brightest star. It's him essentially having this one-man campaign just essentially to thumb his nose at Hollywood by saying, "Look at what I'm doing," and also like America. he clearly doesn't like America. Which is fine.
She had a traumatic enough life as it is. Why add more?
But that's it.
I don't get it. Like, just if you want to make a biopic, there's plenty of fucking
But he
meat
doesn't
on the
want to make a biopic.
bones. No.
He does that. That is patently obvious. He does not want to make a biopic, and that's fine. But it's just, yeah. I think you're right there, Ian. I don't see why, other than we are getting a tantrum of a movie.
Yeah.
Of a tantrum of somebody who's had far too much time and far too many toys to play with, and has just come up with a really angry piece of shit. that some people will try and claim, oh, but visually it's interesting. Is it? Is it though? Because it's not.
The ongoing nightmare aspect of it, I find interesting. Like, just the sheer, Jesus fucking Christ, this is just oppressiveness of it, which is obviously intended, I think is impressive. I just don't know why it's been applied to this subject matter whatsoever.
I think Andrew is a talented filmmaker who was a prick. And the problem is that the prick took over in this. And it's very much a lesson in some filmmakers need somebody there who can go, no. Need a strong producer, not a selection of producers who think that they are a fucking visionary.
He's going to double down on this as well. You know, that's the thing. It's I don't know, it's almost like the kind of path that you see where, like, in 10 years' time, he's going to be directing a film starring Gina Carano for the Daily Wire or whatever the fuck it's called. You know, it's like, he's like, if he's going to double down, he's going to get further ostracized from the film community, and then it just, like, he's going to find lesser opportunities to work. I can kind of see that kind of spiral, because this is a film that people hate.
If he wasn't mates with Brad Pitt, nobody would give a shit about him by now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, the fact, I mean, the fact that Brad Pitt produced this, his production company logo comes up at the start. Nobody's going to be asking questions of Brad Pitt, but there is a part of me that is like, dude, you fucking read the screenplay for this, and we're like, yeah, go for it. I
think his thing was, I trusted in Andrew.
Yeah. I'd love to see what Brad Pitt thinks of the NC-17 scene and what he thinks it adds to the story.
Nothing adds anything to the story, because there's no story there. It's a collection of waffle framed around something that might have happened, and then taking a real life of somebody that didn't have that had trouble within their life, and then taking certain points of that and blowing up and going, what if we made this fucking worse? Why would you make it worse? Why not? Let's make this worse. What if we did this, and we just fucking pile fucking more misery on it? So, but genuinely though, why? Well, why not? But I'm asking you why. You just can't take it though, can you? No, I just don't see the point in it. Oh, that's because you can't handle the truth. But it's not true. You've just said that. Yeah, you can't handle my vision. Of what? Of what?
If
you're gonna properly fucking shock, have all of fucking JFK's fucking Secret Service guys go in there and fucking gang rape her. Why not? Why stop there?
Well, I 100% thought that was going to be, like when they come into her house and take her off for an abortion.
Yeah.
A second one that never happened. I thought that was them coming to kill her off. Like, the rumours are that the Secret Service killed her, isn't it?
Yeah. I honestly, I am fully Suspiria with this.
I think, yeah. If I hadn't used mine last week, I would have gone with that.
I'm gonna say shit. Just like like I say, I think stylistically the waking nightmare aspect. I know I've said that several times. I find that interesting. There is a mood conjured by this film which is effective and obviously deliberate. I mean, it's shit, and I'll be stunned if it's not my biggest disappointment of the year. Like, Babylon would have to be shit for it to not be.
And Babylon's not going to be shit. Because it's not.
Audience poll?
Audience poll is... I'll just get my phone running the cat's bottom for some reason.
You like sitting on phones?
Did anyone else, while I'm finding this audience poll, Ian, have you seen the full Red Band trailer yet before anything for Babylon?
For what, sorry?
The full Red Band trailer.
For what, sorry? Blonde?
For Babylon.
Oh, for Babylon, sorry. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, so there's more in it of just that opening party, which apparently is the opening bit of the film.
Yeah.
That makes you go, all right. So this is a little bit. This is what people are saying. It's a bit like if you crossed Moulin Rouge with Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, okay. I think I probably haven't seen that then. I will seek that out.
At the end, with the Who Wants to See Me Fight a Snake?
Yeah.
The actual line isn't that. It's, alright, all you swinging dick motherfuckers, who wants to see me fight a motherfucking snake?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely haven't seen that. Good stuff. Oh, that's going to be good.
Blonde, definitely not shit 25% of people who are idiots. Touching cloth 0% and shit 75%.
Well done calling our audience idiots. Good job. Deary me.
They're used to it.
That's
I
true.
feel like I, as the person who gets called an idiot most, am allowed to say this.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
You are an idiot.
All right, I'll give you that one.
I would say that.
Yes. Okay, so there we go. That was half an hour or so on Blonde. You are welcome.
Have you ever wondered what so-called family films will scar your kids forever?
Putting 4 and 5-year-olds in front of this movie, it's like, if they didn't know what death was before this, they're going to know it after it.
They're going to know it after it, and they're going to be freaking terrified.
And they're going to be questioning you.
Yeah.
Or do you have the slight suspicion that your loved one has a cold, dead heart?
Yeah, The Dark Knight has got like all the orphans and like, oh no, we're going to die. They did not build up those orphans at all. In my head, it was like, kill them.
Then look no further. The His Film Her Movie podcast is the show for you. It's the movie podcast that celebrates the contrasting cinematic tastes of its hosts. So join Jordan and Lauren every week on their unique journey through the land of the silver screen. So if you're looking for a few laughs, some fun film related chat, then get involved. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey Hannah, I think you really can't beat a good rewatch of a TV show. Would you agree with that, love?
Oh, yes, I would. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I think during, global pandemics, storms, all of these things, it's quite nice to just sit down and burn through something that you've seen a million times.
Absolutely, nothing like a binge watch.
Star Trek.
Babylon 5.
Because you could sit there for hours looking at serial killer documentaries.
Absolutely, that doesn't
Netflix.
Make you a weird person at all.
It doesn't. Yeah, you could watch documentaries that all seem to be about women killing men.
Love you, darling.
You could put off watching Daredevil for the 30th time.
Harry Potter.
But really, you can't beat immersing yourself in the warm jumper of a rewatch of a show or a franchise. A beloved franchise.
Lord of the Rings.
Twin Peaks. From VHS compilations recorded off television with the ad breaks, cut out of course, to DVD box sets of Sex and the City and, I don't know, Smallville.
Farscape.
Quantum Leap. To giving up finding new content on Netflix and just having a comfort trawl through Star Trek The Next Generation or Parks and Recreation. I think that we can all agree.
There's a lot to be said for that.
You can't beat a good rewatch. So, with that in mind, join
Hannah
and Mike from Chinstroker vs. Punter as we burn through some of our favourite franchises and share our immediate reactions to each instalment in both spoiler and non-spoiler sections. To do that, do a search for the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whichever your favourite podcast provider may be, or go directly to anchor.fm/rewatch project. We are proud members of the Pod Syndicate family of podcasts.
So let's move on to Smile, which is written and directed by Parker Finn and stars Zoe Bacon, Jesse T. Usher, and Kyle Gollner. And I don't know, what does IMDb say the synopsis is here? After witnessing a bizarre, traumatic incident involving a patient, Dr. Rose Cotter starts experiencing frightening occurrences that she can't explain. Rose must confront her troubling past in order to survive and escape her horrifying new reality. Yeah, fair. Right, so, Bex, we are in October.
Sorry, didn't know Susie Bacon is Kevin Bacon and Keira Sedgwick's daughter?
That makes a lot of sense.
Is she the awful actress that plays the lead?
Anyway, I didn't know that. Sorry to jump in there.
Well,
it explains why she got the role.
Anyway,
I mean, she's got some massive fucking Keira Sedgwick vibes about her now that you say that.
Yeah, it does start to make sense, actually, doesn't it?
Yeah. Fair play though. I mean, she's had a career. She was in the Scream series, Mayor of Easttown, Narcos Mexico, 13 Reasons Why. Yeah. All right. Well, spoiler alert for what Bex thinks about the lead actress anyway. So, Bex,
yes.
We're in October. It is the time for horror movies and whatnot. Did this put you in the mood for horror? How do you find it?
Really, really disappointing, to be honest.
Okay.
I was looking forward to this, and you know what I'm like with horror. It's basically anything not even halfway decent gets a free pass from me normally, but the premise is interesting, but the story is shit. The acting is absolutely fucking abysmal from the lead. Absolutely abysmal. And the jump scares, the first couple are, pretty decent. There's a couple of good scares, but then they just keep repeating them. And a well done jump scare is an absolutely magnificent thing, but it has to have more, and it doesn't really. I think it relies, obviously the premise is built around this the smiling character, but just relying on that one gimmick and a few unenthusiastically done jump scares does not a horror movie make, unfortunately. For me, I was really disappointed in this, but I think a better actress in the lead role, and it could have got a pass from me. I just think she's fucking awful in this. Absolutely fucking awful. Like, even at the beginning, when she's supposed to be, just her being her normal self, she's fucking awful. And then when she fucking dials it up to 11 to be like, try and persuade this, to try and portray this kind of hysterical, for people viewing from the outside, she's just going crazy. It just wow. And the guy that plays her fiance, what the fuck? I mean, has he been taking acting lessons from that scratch of fucking static that plays the flying man in the Marvel movies? Sam Falcon. That's it.
Sam the Falcon.
Yeah. He's just he might as well not be there. I leaned over to you in the cinema, didn't I? And I just said, he's got real kind of background character in his own life energy.
Which is a withering take on the person.
He does so. Fucking hell. And oh god, you can do the bit about the sofa, fucking hell. But yeah, I just so disappointed in it.
Okay, all right. And Mark, what were your thoughts?
I didn't dislike it as much as Becky. What I will say is, it's pushing 2 hours, which is long for a concept horror film. One that concept is fun, but quite flimsy.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of meat to that bone. There's not supposed to be. It's concept horror. But they flesh it out an awful lot without actually getting into any of the mythos behind the smile.
Oh, no.
And the smile creature, which I thought was quite effective, which is quite good. And, I get the whole... All spoilers all the time, by the way, guys. I get the fact that once it gets inside you, that's it, you have no control anymore. And then you get quite a nice shot, I thought, quite a fun horror shot, of it literally fucking climbing inside her. Which got a lot of laughs in our audience.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like a lot of laughs. But like in a...
Because it hadn't earned it.
I think there was a few of them were laughs at that's funny, and a few of them were laughs at that's a bit go on then. I think there was as many laughs of enjoyment as there were of derision, and it was a busy, big screening, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was busiest I've been to post-COVID.
I don't think it's quite that busy.
Oh no, we went to something else.
Yeah, but it was it was one of the biggest screens in the Cineworld, and it was virtually sold out, which was very nice to see.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there was also... I don't think Sosie Bacon is as bad as you think she is, Beck. I thought she was actually alright. I like seeing Carl Gallagher and stuff because for a while he was like going to be like the new thing of horror and then kind of disappeared for a while and seems to be making a little bit of a comeback.
Him and Robin Weigert were the bright spots for me.
Robin Weigert's very good, but I always think she's quite funny in things.
Her creepy smile was easily the best.
Yeah, her creepy smile, she
was good.
She had practiced like a motherfucker.
Yeah, she did, yeah, because that's not her normal smile.
No, it's not. But there were points where I was turned on to Becky, where, there was a point where, when they're in Joel's apartment, where I was looking at it going, it's a nice fucking window, that. That fucking circular fucking window. Right, how do you build that? And I was working out how you'd actually, the physics of actually building that would be. To the point I was like, shit, I don't realise what they've just said now because I was too busy working out how to build that. And then, the bit that has annoyed me, and this is...
It's really upset you, didn't it?
It's really pissed me off.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a bit of a... Ian, this is my on hold in Star Wars thing. It's this level of finicky, right? There are a couple of outside shots, aerial shots of Rose and Trevor's house.
Yeah.
And it's fair to say it's a decent enough size house. It's made up of 3 buildings. Right?
Yeah.
So, why is he sleeping on the couch for a start off? Because they would have a spare room for him to sleep in. Is number one thing there. And from a directorial point of view, you could have him sleeping in a spare room and still have it that she notices that the audience know that they're no longer sleeping in the same room because she's gone a bit mental, right? But not only that, where it's positioned in the shot before it, the sofa wasn't there. There was a chair there, and the 2 sofas were either side of the chair, so that to have that shot, he's had to what? Move the fucking sofas round.
Yeah.
There's also a shot earlier in the film of the sofa being absolutely fucking massive.
Yeah.
As well, and he's like curled up on this tiny sofa.
Yeah, and so when you're noticing those kind of things and those kind of things in a movie are bothering you, if the movie didn't have like nearly 30 minutes in the middle and had a different, more focused middle that told a better story, the ending would be a lot fucking better. Even just the way it is would be a lot better. Because there's some fucking cool imagery in there. The way that she thinks she's killed it, and then she's gone back to Joel's, and then when she runs out of his apartment, oh no, she's still at the house.
Yeah.
And even that there, when fucking her brother-in-law's going, well, we could get rid of the house. It's just a bit of a tear down at this point anyway, so you can at least get some money for the land. Oh, I wonder if that'll fucking come back later. What did you think, Ian?
Yeah. Some of the dialogue in this film is just very on the nose. Like it was just like the amount of times they say like nutcase or crazy and blah blah blah. It's like, okay, we get the point. You can chill out. But yeah, so I saw this in the most insanely extra way possible. I spent $20 and watched it in Dolby Cinema. So I watched it in like the weirdly best possible format you could watch a film in, probably other than IMAX, and it was for Smile. So that was something. But yeah, so this is a film that I think it's more successful with what it's trying to say than it is with the jump scares, and almost like in a way they're kind of how it's trying to say it. It's got the jump scares in there for, you're kind of like typical kind of like date night horror crowd. But the thing that worked for me was just the commentary on basically once you are tagged with the crazy brush, no fucker will listen to you.
Yeah.
And they won't listen to you basically because they essentially I mean, this is quite nihilistic, but because nobody wants to try and deal with a crazy person because it's a lot of effort, you know, and and that's what this film is kind of trying to say, or at least I think it is. But the way that it kind of puts you, like the unreliable narrator aspect of it, I thought was really interesting. Like my audience, when the birthday party sequence happens and she gives the gift to the kid, there is and then the unsettling music starts. Instantly, I just heard multiple people around go, "It's the cat, it's the cat, it's the fucking cat," and then it's the cat, and it's just this such. Obviously you're expecting the cat to come back, to be a factor in it at some point, but then that happens, and it's just such this, like, setting a light to you, to your societal relationships in one fell swoop kind of act, that I thought was very effective. The whole, just like little things like her setting the alarm, and then it being like, well, you know, why did you do that? And she's sort of like, oh, I don't remember. Just these little things. And then Jesse T. Usher, who is awful in this, but the fiance, for listeners, his character, I don't know, it was interesting because I thought if it was a horror movie that wanted to have more fun, I think his character would have ended up getting killed somehow. Like, I'll be honest, I thought how this was going to end at one point was she was going to kill Jesse T. Usher, and it was going to be in front of like the sister's husband.
Yeah.
Or like if you really wanted to get like almost dark comedy in front of the sister's kid.
Yeah.
Like if you really wanted to go like fucking hell, you know, yeah. But this is a film that does have scares in it, but isn't necessarily interested in being a fun time. It wants to shit you up, and it's I've seen it described as like an A24 film, a horror film that maybe wants to be more of a horror film, and I get that. I think it's a better It Follows, but I also know that I'm. Sorry, go on.
Use identity Bex.
Yeah. I compared it to It Follows. It's like a better It Follows and a worse Gothica.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I think you're spot on right there. I think it is. It's the more interesting bits of it are when it's being when it's exploring motifs rather than horror tropes. But the problem is some of the better executed bits. The couple of well executed jump scares, it just repeats them 3 times.
That's the problem, and then so they don't mean anything now. Even the earlier ones are solid.
There's 3 jump scares of someone going Rose.
Yeah.
There's 3.
There's one that I really liked though, and that's with the sister next to the car. Where her head just flops around. I fucking love that.
But then again, there's no exploring the mythos of this demon.
No.
So it can
possess.
It can manifest.
It can
crawl
inside you.
It can crawl inside you. There's no. It's a bit like they couldn't pick a lane for it to have.
Yeah.
So
and
it arrives via car, train, plane, and boat all at the fucking same time.
It never explores what it actually fucking is either.
No, because they're hoping they can explore that in the sequel.
Oh, please don't give it a sequel.
There'll be a sequel.
Holy shit.
What, 100%. I mean, you get that kind of reveal of at least what maybe its original form looks like at the end. With like the multiple teeth and whatnot when it kind of like crawls inside her mouth, but that is all you get, because you know the whole kind of like what's going on sequence in the middle, which is too long, and especially when there's no real outcome, it you know, just the whole, well, there's a pattern, and it like there's this suicide, but they never go back far enough to get any kind of idea of how it actually started. So you're left there with a bit like, well, what was the point of that then? But I think the third act does the whole kind of like, okay, like she's going to have to do the thing that she thinks is going to solve it, but then that's actually not going to solve it, and then you're going to get like a twisty kind of ending. I knew that was coming, but I liked the way that it just went fucking balls out with the creature design at the end, and just like the whole kind of like ripping the skin off the face and stuff like that. And it was like, okay, you grabbed my attention. And it's interesting, one thing that I didn't know going in was the makeup effects were created and designed by Alec Gillis and Tom Woodruff Jr., who have been in the industry for like fucking decades. Like they did the Alien for Alien 3, and I think Tom Woodruff Jr. was in the suit in Alien 3, so they've been around for ages. And there's just like, it is visceral. Like the bit at the start where the girl like slits her throat, but in that kind of like smile motion, is incredible. And you've got moments every now and then that are full tilt horror like that I hope a sequel does more of. Also, before I forget, the title card absolutely slapped.
Oh yeah, title card was fucking great.
Like that's how you do a horror title card. But yeah, I mean, I think this is an interesting film. I don't think it's wholly successful, and it is way too long. I mean, like you said, Mark, like hour 55 is egregious for what this film is, but as a Ring rip-off for a new generation, I think it works. I mean, fair play to Paramount; they're absolutely smashing it with their like cinematic releases at the moment. This was one where it said in association with Paramount Players at the start, and Paramount Players is basically the Paramount production company for when they're just going to put things straight on streaming.
Well, it was supposed to be Paramount Plus, and then it tested so well that they went, nah, fuck it, we're putting it out.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it cost something like $8 million. Looks like it's going to do about 19 in the US this weekend. You know, it's got all of October to run. Paramount are going to make bank again, you know. And just as a tangent, The Lost City, Jackass Forever, Top Gun Maverick, obviously this, you know, they are making money hand over fist at the moment, and that they're being very, very smart and good on them. And you know what, I'll watch another Smile.
Yeah, apparently they spent more on the marketing for Smile than they did on the making the film, because they were that confident that they could that they would make back whatever on it.
I mean, that shit where they planted people in the crowds at sports games and like on Good Morning America and stuff like that. That's incredible.
It's clever.
That's incredible.
Smile. The more I'm talking about, the more I'm starting to go, do you know what? The bits that I liked are starting to outweigh the bits that I didn't. And I like that.
I'd watch the sequel because she's dead, isn't she?
Oh, is she there?
Yeah, she's
dead. She Saint Mauded herself, didn't she?
Yeah, but I didn't laugh as much.
No.
It would be cool if it was a direct continuation and it's Kyle Gallner trying to stop it and like getting into what is going on of it all. My worry with a sequel would be it's going to spend the first half an hour basically reiterating to get people to the point where we are at the end of this one.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, let Kyle Gallner, who is very supportive of the film on social media, let him be the lead in the next one and let him try and figure out what's going on.
Yeah,
maybe kind of... Yeah, you know, discover what like the mythos of the monster is and then probably die at the end as well.
Yeah. The thing is, that's it. I would happily watch a Kyle Gallner. What is it? 'Cause I think he was good in it.
He was, yeah.
I think slightly lazy making him the ex-boyfriend.
Why?
It just feels a little bit like they had an idea, and then they wrote around the idea.
Yes, yeah.
And none of the around bits were anywhere near as well formed as the idea. They just ran with the idea, and that's a shame because the idea is good. So even at the point of it's, and I get it. This is Parker Finn. It's his first film, I believe, and he wants to continue making films. He wants this to be a bit of a hit. So he has done things. There's clearly a little bit of studio. Look, you need to make sure you do this. You need to make sure you do this. You need to make sure you do this. And I think he's done that and still delivered a decent enough film.
Hey, look, it looks like it's going to be a bit of a banger year for horror movies, and Smile was just another one of those really dependably solid ones, you know. But like frankly, I think Hellraiser is going to have more to remember about it. And Pearl, like people are talking like Mia Goth should be getting an Oscar nomination for it, kind of stuff. Smile is absolutely just one of those commercially successful ones, which is gonna get the like teen audiences in to watch it. And do you know what? The Ring is 20 years old. Let's have another variant on that. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, it's this year's Malignant without being anywhere near as good as Malignant.
Fair.
I don't. You can't put it in the same fucking
No, I
league
don't think
as
it's anywhere
that.
near as good, but I'm trying in the way I think it's caught audiences in the same way as Malignant did. But yeah, it's not a patch Malignant, because Malignant is a future horror classic.
Yep, I'm going to be rewatching *Malignant* again this month, and I'm very much looking forward to it. But
yeah, we are as well, actually.
It's on now.
Definitely not shit. I had a good time with it.
I am touching cloth with it, but I am the closest you can be to definitely not shit with a touching cloth. I will go. I don't think I'm quite Geostorm. I think I'm touching cloth with it. There's enough that I liked, but then I did find myself trying to do masonry work halfway through it.
Oh dear. Yeah, I would say touching cloth. Her performance ruined it for me. Apart from that, I think I would have quite liked it. So I can't say it's shit. She's just shit.
I did like the fact that how much her sister clearly hates her own husband.
Yeah.
That was funny though. Like just that sister's passive aggressive nature. There was an element of the Becky Halls to her.
Yeah, there was. I did like but that also as well. I must say the Jesse T. Usher. I don't know anything about him, but I have never seen a man so uncomfortable at the idea of being presented in a hetero relationship. And I don't know if he's in a hetero relationship in his real life or anything like that, but he genuinely seemed a little bit like at any point that if Rose touched him, he was going, oh!
Yeah.
Our audience poll. Definitely not shit, 50%. Touching cloth, 19%. Shit, 19%. And Geostorm, 12%.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. Okay, so The Munsters, written and directed by Rob Zombie, starring Jeff Daniel Phillips, Daniel Roebuck, Sherry Moon Zombie. Didn't realise this until I just looked at IMDb, but absolutely makes sense. Sylvester McCoy is in it as Igor.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course that's Sylvester McCoy. Richard Brake and Jorge Garcia. So, IMDb says... reboot of The Munsters that followed a family of monsters who moves from Transylvania to an American suburb. There you go. So, this is a film that I knew I was going to have to watch and was really not looking forward to it. Marketing has been awful. Weird distribution where it's on Netflix in the US only, not even in Canada. It has also got
It does appear, apparently, that has even surprised Rob Zombie.
Right, yeah. Just so weird. But yeah, it's also got a physical media release as well. Apparently, that disc is absolutely stacked with extras. Go figure.
Are, aren't they?
Yeah. All right, Mark, The Munsters. What did you think of it?
The thing is, Rob Zombie has been threatening to make this movie for 15 years. I did see an interview thing where he addressed this movie cost $40 million rumour, and was very much like, no one's giving me $40 million to make any movie. Like, I think if you added all my movies together, they cover $40 million. It's like, it was self-financed, and it was around $5 million. It's not $40 million. It's like, have you seen it? What was this thing about it? I saw it described by somebody as, it's a little bit like a porn spoof, but all of the porn's been taken out of it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of accurate, but that is also a little bit not far off what the fucking Munsters was. It's very much the movie. It's very much Rob Zombie's The Munsters.
Yeah.
I'm glad he didn't make a Rob Zombie, as in a Rob Zombie House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects, Rob Zombie Munsters, and put all the porn in there. I'm glad he didn't do that.
He didn't try and make it serious and like dark and stuff as well.
He's just made a weird, fun film that has its flaws. It's a little bit too long. It's a lot too long. It's a good 20 minutes too long. Because it's fun at the start and then it's fun at the end. It's a little bit baggy in the middle. But Sherry Moon Zombie is doing a good Lily Munster. Jeff Daniel Phillips is doing a very good Herman Munster.
He's fucking great as Herman.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun than I expected it to be. I'm going to go out right and say it. We'll talk more about it, but I'm going to give away my review, my view at the end. It's a geostorm.
Oh, it's a very definition of.
Because I don't think it's good. But I don't even think... I think if Rob Zombie was on this show with us now, and we were to explain our ranking systems, I think he'd go, I want a fucking geostorm. I have made this to be a geostorm. The Munsters were shit, but good. And that's what it is. I had enough fun with it. It knows exactly what it is. The production design is fucking great. Fuck it, I'm alright with it. If you've got into this and come out of it going, well, it's just this schlocky kind of mess of movie, like, have you not seen The Munsters or a Rob Zombie film?
Well, yeah.
Go on,
Beck, thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely did not anticipate this being my favourite of the films that we reviewed this week, but yeah. I really fucking loved it. I really liked The Munsters when I was a kid. I used to watch it all the time. It was just fun but stupid. Like, you could almost imagine bits of the set falling off and hitting someone in the head or something like that.
That literally did happen a few times within Munsters shows.
It looked tacky, it looked cheap, but it was just really good fun. And I think...
To back that up, sorry, I'm fairly certain one of the Munsters Christmas specials, one of the back paintings in the back had a big slice through it and you could see through it for the most of what is it.
Yeah.
And they just didn't correct it because they were like, it's the fucking Munsters, no one cares.
Yeah. It's like a sweeter Addams Family. Like, they're just like a normal family, but they happen to be monsters, whereas the Addams Family, there is a bit more monstery shit in there. But I think, you're not going to beat Fred Gwynne as Herman Munster, but I think he does a really fucking good job in this. Like, and they are clearly, they're not putting their own spin on the characters. They're not trying to make them their own. They're just doing impersonations of the original portrayals, but it's what you want from a Munsters reboot or prequel or whatever it is. It's prequel. You're not going to enjoy this if you don't have some nostalgia and affection for the original series. You're just not, I don't think. But yeah, I really, really loved it.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I loved it. I'm glad you did, Bex. I'm staggered, to be honest, because that trailer that we talked about a few weeks back was awful, and it kind of amateurish, and it kind of seemed like it was based off of unfinished footage. But you watch this, and it's more a collection of scenes than it is a film for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it kind of feels more like a pilot, because like by the end of the film you've got to kind of where the Munsters began, essentially. But I enjoyed my time with it, I gotta say. Jeff Daniel Phillips as Herman I thought was terrific. I thought he was great, like really funny and sweet and endearing. Sherry Moon Zombie was good. Yeah, you know. I suppose I don't have an awful lot to say about it, but I mean, like, I liked how vivid it was. Like you said, Mark, the production design was great. I'm not going to say it looks like it cost any more than $5 million, but it doesn't look like it cost nothing. And there's a style to it, and it's interesting. I've been seeing multiple people talk about Avatar this week with the re-release and say like it's a very sincere film, and I think Avatar is. I would very much describe The Munsters as that as well. It is, again, it's absolutely the film that Rob Zombie wanted to make, but unlike with Blonde, I could see a section of people really getting something out of this, as Bex did, and I think there are people who will probably add this into their Halloween rotation. It's family friendly, I suppose, is a weird way of putting it, but it is PG rated. You know, there's a couple of like references to things for older people, but
no,
it is
fine your average Pixar movie.
Yeah, no, exactly. But it's a sweet film. And you know, fair play to Rob Zombie for it, you know, and I hope he makes his money back. You know, I hope everybody washes their face with this.
It's one of those things. I think he commented on someone said about the production design being really good, and he was like, well, yeah, I'll be honest. He said things like a lot of the sets, we had really talented set people, but he said, you know, it's plywood and lights and a bit of paint, most of it. It's like it's quite easy to do. He said that and he was saying, you know, it's sometimes easier to have a few skilled people with a room and a Home Depot card, a Home Depot voucher with $500 on it. Will probably deliver you a better set than, you know, a team of CGI guys.
Yeah.
That's the filmmaking that I would prefer to do. And he's like, don't get me wrong, I love going to see these big budget films. I like going to see the latest Spider-Man. I dig those things. Not saying this is better or anything like that, but he was very at pains to say, but you know, it's foam and fabric. It's really cheap. It was just sort of nice in the fact that he's very much like that.
Yeah.
You know, and he's been very honest and said, because somebody was saying, you've toured a lot recently about music because he's just finished another tour.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I had to do a lot of touring to pay for the Munsters. And it's kind of like, it's pretty cool that. I've seen Rob Zombie a bunch of times. He's fucking great live.
Yeah.
And, you know, if he's got that he can do, which he enjoys and people enjoy, and then he can do this. And there's that J-pop metal band that he's had a tour with him for a few dates.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the metal community have like basically been slagging him off about it. And he posted like a picture on his Instagram of him with I can't remember what they're called, of this J-pop metal band. And it's these three like young girls in it.
Yeah.
And he got a load of shit for it, and he was commenting on it back to them, saying to
Baby metal.
Yeah.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Baby called Baby Metal Alley. Baby Metal called, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was basically going, fuck you, dickheads. These guys fucking rock harder than any of you pricks. And was basically just going about it and just attacking it. And I think it's fucking... He's been a very derided guy who's not actually done that much fucking wrong.
I don't think he gives a fuck, though, does he?
No, I don't think he gives a shit. But it's just... I've seen an awful lot of sniffiness towards the Munsters. And it's a bit... And actually going back to it... It's Rob Zombie's The Munsters.
What did you expect?
What did you expect?
Yeah.
Why watch it if you know you're not going to like it?
Yeah, and I think the fact that someone's tackled it that loves The Munsters is the absolute fucking best thing. Because I think anyone else would have maybe tried to do something a bit more Addams Family with it.
If you'd have
and
ended
make it a
up
bit more serious.
If you'd have ended up with a fucking CG Munsters fucking straight to Netflix 80-minute movie that was voiced by fucking Ben Schwartz, something like that. Nothing against Ben Schwartz, but you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Then that would have been a bit like, that's farting out content.
Yeah.
This isn't farting out content.
No.
Weirdly. This is a filmmaker, musician, fucking a little bit putting his money where his mouth is.
Yeah.
And making something that he wanted to make. And yeah, I absolutely think that Rob Zombie and Sherry Moon Zombie have fucked with her dressed like Lily Munster before this.
Oh god, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you know what? Fuck it. I'm fine with that.
I mean, to be fair to her, she's a hot chick and she rocks the look, so...
She looks pretty damn good for 50, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. I've always liked
I don't say,
Zombie.
what I mean there is, not that she looks good for 50, she just looks fucking good,
Yeah,
and she happens to be 50.
I'm not even 40 and I wish I looked as good as she did.
Yeah, I had a good time with Munsters. It's a geostorm. It is an absolute fucking geostorm. I am not going to pretend this is a good movie. And I don't think Rob Zombie will pretend this is a good movie. But it's the movie he wanted to make, and I'm glad he got to make it.
I think, I don't know, it depends how you define good movie. It succeeds in what it wants to do.
I just don't think I can bring myself to say that it's definitely not shit, because I do think it's a bit shit, but I think it's virgin unintentional shit. And it's too long.
It is a bit too long. But the bit where they're in Paris, though, because that's the bit that makes it too long, it's funny.
No, the bit, I think after Paris it starts to get a little bit warmed down. No, but yeah, the bit in Paris, and I don't really like Paris. People are rude. And it's a bit like, I don't like Paris because people are rude.
Right, I was gonna go Geostorm, but I just liked it too much. I'm gonna have to give it a definitely not shit.
Yeah, you're at definitely not shit, Bex. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, Geostorm for me, it's barely a movie, but I thought it was engaging enough. I thought it was entertaining, and you know, Blonde is probably going to be on my biggest disappointments. I could see The Munsters being on my biggest surprises, despite the fact I'm even giving it a Geostorm. But I fully expected this to be one of the worst films of the year, so I'm delighted to say it's not.
Our audience poll: definitely not shit, 0%. Touching class 17%. Shit, 67% of miserable bastards. Geostorm 16%. I'm sorry, I do love you all. You know I do. I'm being...
Deary me.
Even if you are miserable bastards.
Right. I've got about 20 minutes. Do we want to do Twitter questions, or are there any what we've been watching that anyone wants to quickly bang off?
I will quickly bang off. We'll probably go into more detail.
I haven't watched anything.
You've not watched anything else, have you? You've a bit of reading, haven't you?
Yes.
Okay.
I did watch The Greatest Beer Run Ever.
Yeah.
Ian's, I think, a portion into it, are you, Ian?
I'm about a third of the way in. Yeah.
I won't give away too much because I don't want to ruin it for Ian, even though it is an actual based on true story. To an extent. But a lot more accurate than some of the favourite films. I really liked it. I think it's a fun, sweet movie. I think it's got things to say. It looks very good. Zephron does a really good New York.
Yeah.
And you keep expecting it to just break it as Zephron, it doesn't. Like I say, I'm going to stop there because I don't know what point Ian's in, but the movie does, which I think you're expecting to happen, does switch quite significantly at a certain point.
Yeah.
And again, don't think I'm giving away too much here. There's a bit towards the end I didn't expect to get kind of choked up at.
Oh wow.
Towards the end there. What I will give it, I paused it to go and get myself a drink, and looked up and went, fucking hell! I was watching it on my own and was amazed that I was 48 minutes into it. I thought I was about 20 minutes into it.
Fair enough.
I thought the opening bursts along like a motherfucker. But
nice.
It's got shit to say. I think one of the things that it is saying, again, this isn't giving away too much, so it spoils it for anybody who hasn't watched it or Ian who's halfway through it. But this idea of, if you think shades of grey, no, everything is black and white, is a modern problem, it fucking isn't. Is quite well done. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I didn't expect for out of all the movies we were watching this week, the greatest beer run ever to be the film that I think was my favourite of the lot that we talked about this week.
Yeah.
But it probably was.
Wow. Fair enough.
We'll talk a bit more about it next week.
Also, gonna go out on a limb here. Looks fucking better than Blonde. It looks fucking actually, it's a lovely 4K, and the Atmos is fucking great on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It sounds fucking brilliant. Anyway, that's all I've got. The only other film I watched this week was Wanderlust.
Was what?
Wanderlust, the Paul Rudd and Jennifer Aniston movie. Nice. Which is a fun movie and does contain Justin Theroux doing a good performance where he keeps on listing modern products, but just none of them are anywhere near remotely modern. They're all like 40 years old. So it's like going, you don't need any of your fangled Netflix Nintendo Power Gloves and Sony Walkmans. What else have you watched while you've been out in the land of magic?
Oh yes, indeed. I've got 3 others to talk about, so I'm going to set myself 7 minutes so that we got 10 minutes for Twitter stuff at the end. So I went to the cinema and watched Avatar in IMAX 3D. My opinion on Avatar basically hasn't changed. I think that film is too long. I think the action and the world building is incredible. I think Jake Sully is a character who you only get behind because you're told that he's significant and he changes his mind about the Na'vi, but yeah, great, I don't care. So yeah, Avatar is Avatar, but what I think Stephen Lang as Colonel Quaritch is incredible, and I'm looking forward to him coming back in the sequel. What I will say, after it, there's a mid-credits sting, which apparently varies, and I think the variable is if you're watching it in IMAX 3D or not. So if you're not, you get a dialogue scene from Avatar 2, but what I got was a sequence with what I think is one of Jake and Neytiri's kids in an ocean, basically communicating with a whale and swimming with a whale. And in Avatar, the remastered Avatar, there's some variable frame rate stuff going on where literally within the same shot sometimes it'll go from 24 frames per second to a high frame rate and it looks weird, but on occasion it works. But with this, it was like everything above the water was 24, and then when it went below the water, it was high frame rate. And with the 3D as well, it was almost like you were watching a fucking nature documentary. And I think that's what Cameron is going for, and it worked. I'm really intrigued about Way of Water from a technological point of view, and again, a world point of view. I am looking forward to seeing that film in IMAX 3D. there is something spoilery that I've heard that may be bullshit about Way of Water. I'm not going to say what it is, but if it pulls off, I'm way more here for it than I would have been otherwise. Maybe I will say it, but if you guys don't care,
I don't care. I think I know what it is anyway.
So just skip the next 30 seconds. So I have heard that basically Jake dies at the end of the first act.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, and we get to do some Avatar with non-Jake Sully, yeah. All right, cool. Let's do it. There we are. So I also watched Athena, which is a new
very
film.
Much looking forward to watching this.
Oh yes, new film on Netflix directed by Romain Gavras. This is, people have been hot on Twitter about this, but also Noel was very, you need to watch this. So essentially, it's about a community in France that basically goes to war with the police over the killing of one of their young, who basically there was a video released of police killing this kid. And there's there are brothers of this kid. One of them works with like the French military, and it's essentially trying to end things in a way that's not going to like end in extreme bloodshed. You've got a brother who is basically leading the revolution within the community, and you've got an older brother who's like a drug dealer within the community and kind of almost doesn't have a side. And it's told basically through a collection of like oneers. And I suppose the best way I could describe it is Lahane meets Assault on Precinct 13 meets The Raid.
Fucking hell.
Which... yeah. And yeah, I mean, it is basically that. If that sounds like your cup of tea, you're gonna like Athena. It's a depressing film. It's a film that's got stuff to say, but it's also one that's very, very exciting cinematically. Looks like it cost an absolute fortune.
I've heard the opening is a fucking banger.
Yeah, everything up until the title card is like, wow. And then you get a lot of that as well. But like it's interesting because it's like a social commentary cinema, but that also is unapologetically entertaining with how it's depicting stuff. It is very, very, very good, and obviously Mark or Mark and Bex will be watching it at some point soon, so we'll probably talk about it more then.
Yes.
And my last one, I finally caught up on Bergman Island, Mia Hansen-Love's film from last year, which I thought was fucking brilliant, extremely my shit. It's Tim Roth and Vicky Krieps are like this filmmaking couple. They don't make films together. I think one of them writes, one of them directs, basically. But they are visiting the home of Ingmar Bergman. Their relationship is kind of okay, but kind of not. Vicky Krieps is trying to write a film, and you get a film within a film starring Mia Wasikowska and Anders Danielson Lee as a ex-couple brought together at a friend's wedding. And it gets very, very meta at the end, which I wasn't expecting and I thought was really interesting. But it's full of love for film, but also love for Anders Danielson Lee being a very, very hot man, and Mia Wasikowska having some really, 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 really good chemistry with him. It's a kind of like a romantic film, a hot film, but it's also got a lot of conversation about film history and some really pretty environments. So I'm out of time on that, but I really, really, really enjoyed Bergman Island, and I wish I watched it last year because it would have been on my 10.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is he that guy? Anderson Lee, is he the guy? Is he the worst person in the world?
Yeah.
Right, I need to catch up on that and that this next couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's a doctor in real life who just acts in films when he fancies acting in films.
Isn't he also a musician as well?
Yeah, like that dude like could be huge. And seriously, the chemistry he's got with Mia Wasikowska in this is ridiculous.
He's got fucking 3 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a medical
he's
doctor.
an impressive dude.
And he's got a degree in musicology and a degree in ancient Greek as well. Fucking fair play, bro.
Yeah, he's a really, really impressive guy. Like, end of, you know.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And Mia Wasikowska just playing a normal person in this, which is nice.
Ah, yeah, that's interesting. Because usually she does play a little bit too kooky and it's annoying.
Yeah, no kook here. Kind of heartbreaking, to be honest, but yeah, really good. Right. Questions?
Ooh, questions. We have a couple. I forgot to put a question out today. That's my bad. Apologies. Ricky, after Ian's experiences with his namesake hurricane this week, what are your favourite films where extreme weather plays a significant part?
All of them. Love a weather film.
We do like a weather movie, don't we? Heavy Rain is a big one up there for me.
Twister, obviously.
Twister, obviously.
What's that
Geostorm?
Gyllenhaal one?
Oh, are you talking about
Day After Tomorrow?
Day After Tomorrow? Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Can I also point out? I know we do this every time, but do the right thing.
Yeah. Good call.
Every time there's a movie where it's like, what movie is this? Do the right thing always comes up in it. Do the right thing. It's set on the hottest day of the year.
I've never seen Do the Right Thing.
Oh, jeez.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs?
Strong one, that one. Yeah. What else is there?
The Fog.
The Fog, good shout. Yeah. Perfect Storm.
The Mist. That's technically like weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whiteout.
Whiteout.
I like Whiteout. Whiteout's a good film.
Fair.
It is good.
Fair.
That's the Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah.
God, what's her name? Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale, yeah. A lot of the Thing vibes to it as well. In the sense that it's set in a fucking Arctic outpost.
Yeah.
But it's a fun time, is Whiteout. It's better than it has any right to be.
All weather movies, actually.
Yeah, I do like a weather movie.
Yeah.
Right. No. Will you be reviewing Netflix Lou, which stars Alison Janney and who else is in it here?
I don't know. That's not a real name. Journey Smollett.
What is it, Ian?
Journey Smollett. Journey
I don't know enough about
Smollett.
this.
I don't either. It's got Not Kit Harington in it.
Logan Marshall Green's in it.
Yeah.
Alright, who the fuck hell?
Isn't he not Tom Hardy?
He's also not Tom Hardy at the same time, yeah.
Oh, okay, at the same time. Okay.
Yeah, he's not a few people. I might watch this. How long is it? Oh, it's over 100 minutes. Bollocks to that. Who's got time for that shit?
Jesus Christ, Mark. Yeah, I'll watch that. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, that was our questions this week.
Okay, so that will do for this week's show. Sorry it's short, but we'll be back with regular length next week, I am sure. And what is coming up next week? We have got... oh, God, my mind's gone blank. The Woman King. Hell yeah.
I'm starting to get a little bit worried about that.
Yeah, you shouldn't read
I'm
that
not.
story on
I
stuff.
shouldn't read, should I?
No.
I shouldn't read.
A film I am getting worried about, Amsterdam.
Oh, why?
Also, a film I am worried about watching, Hellraiser.
Is that next week?
So fucking psyched for that.
Yep.
Whoa.
Friday.
The Woman King was written by Maria Bello.
Yeah, she came up with the story and she wrote. Yeah, there is a chance Maria Bello gets an Oscar nomination for producing or writing The Woman King this season.
Yeah. What I would say about that is don't do any like historical research in the Kingdom of Dahomey.
Okay.
Because they're horrible people. I'm curious to see if the film
Addresses it at all.
addresses certain things.
We shall see. I'll also be starting some LFF coverage. I'll be able to watch stuff in the screener library when I'm back in the UK. I'm also seeing White Noise on Thursday, so I'll talk about that. And I'm seeing Holy Spider a week Tuesday, which is the new film from the person who directed Border. So that should be interesting. So yeah, there we are. It's going to be a busy one next time round. So I assume we're back to our Wednesday records next time round, is it?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine by me. So there's probably going to be a bit of a delay between this show and the next show because of that. We're recording on a Sunday this week, so it's going to be about a week and a half. But then when we do have a show, it's probably going to be fucking huge.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, strap in then. Other than that, I did all the preamble at the start, so I'm just going to say thank you very much today, Becky.
Thanks, Ian.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you very much.
Kiki, I'm coming home. Goodbye.
Andrew Dominic can suck my dick.
Oh, there you go. Good ending.